Mark and the entire staff of the Chamber. I started my company 13 years ago, certainly not out of inspiration, more out of desperation. 18 years ago, I was addicted to cocaine, I was an alcoholic. I used to live in New York City. At one point, I worked at this major nightclub called the Limelight on 20th and 6th Avenue. And at that time, I worked the VIP lounge, became friends with some very interesting and different types of people. And one night I was partying in a loft of a Colombian drug smuggler, me and my girlfriend at the time, and all of a sudden I turned blue. And I stopped breathing. And he looked at me, he looked at her, and said, "He can't die here. Please drag him out. I'll do you a favor, I'll help out. I'll call 911. She drugged me out, and God bless EMTs, first responders, anyone in that industry, because if it wasn't for them, I would have been dead there. But once the St. Vincent's Hospital got out, next night, did what I always did. Eventually, I moved back to my home area, Delaware County, and moved to a little town called Lansdowne, Pennsylvania. And while I was there, I lived in a little apartment. Actually, I just visited it the other day. It was quite interesting. And I was at this apartment, and it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. I was depressed. I was on antidepressants. My life was unexisting. And I saw this infomercial. First was an infomercial for the Floaty. Who remembers the Floaty? Google it if you don't know. And then came on this guy called Tony Robbins, and he had these big teeth and saying, the past does not equal your future. You can change your life. I know this is garbage with this guy now. And that line, the past does not equal your future, stuck with me. But I didn't buy. Watched the same infomercial for the second night. And then for the third night, I made the decision that truly changed my life, and I bought those tapes. And I began listening to those tapes over and over again, getting myself clean, but also developing a fascination of why we do what we do. Why do we get stuck, and how can we change? Eventually I started to grow and went to a few seminars. Eventually I was trained by Tony Robbins, who was one of his coaches. And I love what he did, but I was an entrepreneur since I was 12. My first business was a pro wrestling magazine called Spectrum News. It was Xerox. People used to mail in their newspaper clippings, and I would print them out and resell them for 25 cents. Okay, I needed a CFO back then, but I was smart, I was passionate, right? I'm an artist in my heart. So I had that entrepreneur spirit, and at that point I started developing a vision of why I wanted to make a difference, the impact. And it wasn't for someone else's vision, it was my vision. So in my basement, I opened up Get Life Coaching with 2 clients. And the irony of it is, one of my original clients just called us the other day and said, "My life is great." And they got married. And I need some help. And he called me back, and I'm coaching him again. So it kind of went full circle. And I started in my basement. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I started businesses in other areas of my life, but this was a different type of business. So I joined the Chamber. And I'm probably one of the most unconventional coaches that there are. My seminars go long. We do fire walking now. We do gas walking. We go to 2:15, 2:30 in the morning. But they get results. At the end of the day, that's what people want. They want results. So I have this 14-hour seminar that we do called Breaking Through the Barrier. So I used to do these mini versions at the old Chamber location. And it was very interesting because I tried to cram 3 hours, 14 hours into 3 hours, including a board break. I remember one of the first ones that I did. I mean, Amy's, that's your brother. Yes. There you are. She was there. And I did these, and at the very end, we're jumping, we're hollering, and the former president of the Chamber, Ron Walker, walks in, right? He goes, "What is this ruckus going on here? Don't you understand we're doing business?" I said, "Yeah, but we're breaking boards and changing lives." He didn't quite get it. But it doesn't have to. But we grew. We grew with a mission, we grew with purpose. And that's how I opened up my first office in Delaware City. And then from Delaware City, I opened an office in 202. And then we expanded in Delaware City. And then we came from me, one person, to 2 people to 3 people. And now we have a team of coaches, team of individuals, team that come out and supports our seminars, people that who work the fire team, who work the fire name, this amazing amount of people who are dedicated. And I just want to thank each of you because it's crazy hours. We were talking last night. You never know what's going to happen or when it's going to end. And they come back and then they push and they push and they push for one reason. In the end of the day, this is what this is about. I love studying great companies, whether it's Apple or Zappos. And it's about creating great environments. It's the spirit of entrepreneurialism is to take something and make it nothing into something. But to do so, you gotta create a culture. You gotta create something that people recognize and connect with. And at this point, it's been thousands of individuals that we've worked with, and we've created a culture. And it's our family. This is what we do. But to drive that hard, to work, because it's never been about how can I make people feel better. I would have been a motivational speaker if I wanted to make people feel better, because motivation wears off. It's about empowerment and transformation. It's your responsibility for you to figure out what I have to do to get through the challenges and the victories in life. So it's always been about mission, making a difference. I can be a psychoanalyst in my head and kind of go back to early in my life, when at the beginning of my life I was adopted, and a little bit later I was made fun of, I was picked on. And it was those moments, I think, that created the ultimate drive for me. And it's very interesting. A good client of mine said the other day, he said, "Joe, you know what I love about you?" He said, "You believed in me before I believed in myself." And I needed that. So that's what you do. You believe in people before you can believe in themselves. And it's my drive, and I don't give up. And it takes 2:30 in the morning, it takes 2:30 in the morning. And it's unconventional, but it gets results. And that's what my whole life's been about. And I'm so blessed to have a team that keeps coming back to that one thing. And that's about mission and purpose. And the purpose is to change someone's life. Whether it's someone who needs to improve their business, or at our last event that we did, Saturday night we did an 8-foot glass walk. They walk over broken glass. And one of the participants is a woman who 18 months ago had a stroke and had about 80% paralysis in her right side. And I turned to her. I said, "What are you going to do?" And I was thinking she could just step on the glass or walk beside it, because her strength and her courage is amazing. This woman does not need to walk on glass to prove anything. She goes, "No, I'm walking." And she starts walking across the glass, people holding her, supporting her, right? Very little power in her right side. Halfway through, she goes, "I can't do it with my cane." She puts her cane down. She crosses the other side. The room is crying, because what we saw was the most important thing. We saw the human spirit. That's what we love. We love the human spirit. Whether it's connection, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your children, a wedding, that's what it is. Those raw moments when life, what matters most in life, is evident, is clear, and it's real. And it inspires us. It inspires us to look inward and face our fears and say, "You know what? What do I need to do? Where can I grow? Or how can I make a difference in this world and impact?" And I'll end with this. It's truly that life is about two things. It's about growth and contribution. You can have love, but not feel fulfilled. But you gotta grow. If you can't grow for yourself, you gotta grow and share. And that's been the mission of what we did, what we do here for 13 years now. And a passage from a book that we tend to use a lot in our events. I just want to kind of share it with you. I'm sure a lot of you have heard it, or maybe you've heard different takes on this. But it's by an author named Marianne Williamson, and she wrote a book called Return to Love, and it's from this, and I just want to share this with you. And she writes, "It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who you are not to be. You are a child of God, and you're playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We were born to make the manifested glory of God that is within us. It's just not in some of us, it is in every one of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I love what I do. I love being an entrepreneur. love being surrounded by the most amazing souls in my life that are attracted to this. I'm very honored to be added to this with some amazing entrepreneurs, and more, probably most gracious for allowing me to share a little bit about who I am and what I believe in with all of you. Thank you very much.